Well, you know from the music, it's a big day.
Can we keep it rolling? I was pointing down.
We don't bust up those beats for nothing.
No.
Huge day at Santa Anita. Thrilled to be with you again for Santa Anita Road to the Breeders' Cup live. We did this for the Derby run-up. Now we're live, headed toward the Breeders' Cup. The first U.S. Challenge Series race is today. It's the Shoemaker Mile. It's about 17 minutes away. We're going to bring it to you live coverage all the way through to the end of the Santa Anita card, which also includes two other Grade 1 races. We've got the Hollywood Gold Cup, and we also have the Gamely. So 3 Grade 1 races coming up. We've got live coverage of those races. We'll have special guests joining us. But first, let me introduce my good friends, Ren Carothers and Matt Bernier. Ren, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Real quick off the top, I just want to say, Memorial Day to anybody out there who has had a loved one serve. Thank you so much, for their service. If somebody's had somebody serve and, actually lose their life, ultimate sacrifice, there are no words to express the gratitude that goes, to you and your family. So Memorial Day, we know what it's about. We're enjoying ourselves today because of the sacrifices of others. So again, profound thanks.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. Matt, we know it's been a little while since we've seen you. You've been on some of the NBC shows. You've been killing it with the pod. How have you been since we've last connected?
Yeah, all's well. Good to be back with you guys. Looking forward to some good racing here this afternoon or evening, depending on where you're picking this stuff up. Echo everything that Ren brought up about Memorial Day. We get to have these fun events and things like that because of the folks who served and unfortunately some folks who lost their lives in the field. So taking advantage of every sort of moment that we can with these sort of things. And I would think of no better way to spend the evening with you guys and taking in some good Grade 1 racing.
Well, it's great to be back. Absolutely. It's great to be back with both of you. It's also great to be back with our audience. Once again, really thrilled to have everyone join us today. And this show is interactive. We want to hear from you. Tell us who you think is going to win the Shoemaker Mile. Tell us who you're picking. You can drop a message in the comments. It is a weekend where, let's face it, we all have a drink or two. So if you have a drink, there you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Feel free. Tell us what you're drinking. Enjoy with us and listen up. This is meant to be a fun hour and a half as we lead you through the next 3 races. But again, let us know who you like in the Shoemaker Mile. Also, before we move on, I want to let people know that if you've got a first bet account or an express bet account, there's the cashback guarantee for the next 3 races, all Grade 1s. You bet a win bet up to $10. If your horse finishes second or third, you get your money back. And I want to start there, actually, because I want to kind of think about this first race that we have, and it's the Shoemaker Mile. There are the odds up on the board right now that you can see. Your favorite on the outside, the 7, Say the Word, currently 6-5. Your co-favorite down in the 2-hole, Smooth Like Straight, also 6-5. I'm not using my $10 bet on either of those 2 horses, even though logically I think we'll probably all agree one of those 2 should win this race. Let me start with you, Ren.
Okay.
From a pace perspective, it looks like Smooth Like Straight, right? I mean, who's going?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a chalk eating weasel here with Smooth Like Straight on top. I just think the horse, obviously, we know the class that he has displayed that last time out in the Turf Classic. He got the lead. He got caught late just to lose by a neck and back in third. But the other thing that was interesting about that, and we know Matt Bernier loves a lead change or doesn't love a lead change. But in this case, when he was on his correct lead in the stretch, when St. Liam or Colonel Liam came rolling up next to him, he looked at him, and by looking at him, he shifted his weight and then, shifted onto the wrong lead. I obviously don't think that would have meant that he would have won the race had he stayed on the correct one. But still, I mean, when your margin of defeat, back in third is a neck, and it was Colonel Liam and domestic spending, getting up in front of you. No shame in that game. You've got Umberto back aboard. We know what a great clock he has in his head. So yeah, he's the horse, as the running line says, also the saddle issues in there as well to worry about. I think the horse at a price that's interesting to me is the other McCarthy, and that is Crossfire Hurricane. If you look at those races, he's never been on fast turf before. You also can maybe give him an excuse for being so poor in those last 2 starts, one on synthetic, one on grass, with the fact that he was going 1.5 miles, 1.25 miles. Here we're cut back all the way to the mile. He hasn't run in forever. I do understand that. But why do you throw a horse in a grade 1 race off that type of layup unless you think he's ready to roll? And you've got a great rider up with Super Mario. So I think that's a horse that could definitely intrigue there, at least in those exotics.
Crossfire Hurricane, Group 3 winner in Ireland, making the U.S. debut here for Michael McCarthy, as you mentioned, who's fresh off of his Preakness win with Rombauer.
Right. Did you have him, by the way, the Rombauer? I mean, you've been on him forever.
How many shows did we do last year where I was like, Rombauer, all the Santa Anita shows, I'm like, Rombauer. And then, of course, I did not. I jumped off. I do want to say with McCarthy, though, with horses like this debuting international runners first time in the U.S., he is 0 for 7, so has a little bit of history to kind of trump there. So we'll see what he can do. Before we go to Matt, I want to go back and visually show something that you described, which was Smooth Like Straight in the Turf Classic. Of course, he got to the lead there, and he was passed, as you mentioned, by 2 horses who, I think would probably be less than even money in this race, were they in this race. So let's go back and take a look at the finish of the Turf Classic.
Colonel Liam with an inside trip up into second position as they come toward the top of the stretch. Smooth Like Straight, and Colonel Liam is bearing down on the outside. Domestic Spending is trying to put in a bid 2 in behind horses. From the back of the pack, 2 Digital Age is in tight traffic there, but finds a way through, and now it is Colonel Liam who strikes the front. Smooth Like Straight, Domestic Spending closing on the outside. They're coming down to the line, and it's going to be very close.
So Matt, I'm curious to hear what you thought about that, and do you look at it as you consider the company that passed him and how well he hung in, or do you look at it as, well, look, this is a horse who maybe is prone to give it up when he's on the lead, because we've seen him win from just off the pace often. That's kind of where he wants to be.
Well, at first blush, to me, the 1 1/8 isn't ideal. I think he's better at a flat mile, which we're going to get here this afternoon. You can see occasionally when horses get a little bit tired, they're looking for a little extra. That's when they'll hop back to that left lead. The only reason I'm a little bit dubious about the horse this afternoon, his credentials are obvious. He makes all the sense from a figure standpoint. 2 starts back, he was late to change leads, and he had never done that before. And now, normally I would say maybe it was that final 1/8 of a mile at Churchill against much better horses. Let's just call a spade, Domestic Spending and Colonel Liam. Either of those horses would be odds on in here. But with back-to-back races, him doing little things that are a little bit peculiar to me at a short price, I'm not that afraid of taking a shot against him. If he wins, so be it. It's not going to be the end of the world. I've passed 7 to 5 shots in the past. I'll pass more again. But I just think there's at least enough of a case for me to wonder if maybe he's going to begin to tail off form a little bit here. And I do find it interesting, to Ren's point, that the other McCarthy is in here. It's not as though Smooth Like Straight being in this spot is a surprise. And you still are willing to try this fresh face in the United States in a race like this at a distance that may be a hair on the sharp side for him. I don't know. It just made me think twice. And at even money, I'll take a shot against Smooth Like Straight.
Okay.
Can I tell you? Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Can I drop some pedigree knowledge on you? Just so
please.
Just to make the horse a little more familiar to our U.S. audiences. Obviously, we know who Kitten's Joy is, right? But that being said, the dam there, Luvakova, she is a half sister to Flotia. So we know Flotia, having won the 2012 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. She won the French 1000 Guineas. The family also includes Group 1 sprinters G-Force and Lethal Force. So there's some speed in the background of that pedigree as well. Like I said, I know this horse has been off for a very long time, but again, to repeat what I said and what Matt is also echoing, yeah, why put a horse in a grade 1 unless you think there is something there? It's not like he's a rabbit, right? Because it didn't, it doesn't indicate he's a front runner. He's been up. I mean, when he lost 14 and a half lengths back in the Irish Derby, you got Santiago. Tiger Moth went on to run second in the Melbourne Cup later that season. And back and forth was our eventual Breeders' Cup Mile winner, Order of Australia. So, I mean, obviously, you already know it's a great race because it's a Group 1 and it's the Irish Derby. But just to, again, familiarize the audience with the horses this horse was up against, I just think he could possibly surprise us all here. So
that's great info, and that gives us context because let's face it, most of us have no idea who this horse is, and we're just like, should we be interested? I think the horse is potentially a viable play with that promo that we've been talking about, the money back special. Take a shot with the horse. Who knows? Maybe you get lucky. You put $10 on him at 15-1. You get back $160. The horse finishes second and third. You get your $10 back. Let's go over to the outside post here for a little did you know. Phil D'Amato, sorry to block your face, Matt, there, has won 3 of the last 7 runs. See your hands. Won 3 of the last 7 runnings of this race with Hunt, won it with Midnight Storm, and won it with Obviously in 2014. And, of course, he's got that horse on the outside. He's got Say the Word. Interestingly, Say the Word comes out of a grade 2 victory in the Elkhorn at Keeneland. That was a 1.5 mile race. He's been running primarily a 1.5 mile, 1 3/16. What's going on here? Why are we trying this horse at a mile? Who wants to take a stab at that one?
I'm perplexed by myself, and he's really going to need them to cook up front and fall apart, I would think, to have a shot here. But it's Phil D'Amato. Who am I to question him?
I think there's a real argument to be made that he may be the best horse in the race, but this is a very, very sharp distance for a horse like this. And to Ren's point, I think he's just going to be outrun early on. Worst case scenario, you take a shot here. It's a grade 1. It doesn't work. You stretch him back out in distance. No harm, no foul. Best case scenario, you unlock a little something here, and all of a sudden you open up many options going forward. If you want to campaign him at a mile or a 1 1/8, you can do so. If you want to stretch him back out to a 1.5 miles or those sort of distances, that works as well. So I think kind of the timing on the calendar, this race, this is as good an opportunity as any to take a shot and find out. If he can't handle a mile, I'm dubious. I'm stunned at the money that he's taking. Again, maybe that has more to do with his class and maybe him just being the best horse in the race. But again, when you take them out of their element, that may put him up against it a bit. I suppose if you like him, it's got to be, maybe it's, I don't know, a little confidence building that people are really in on him early on. But I like the horse. I just don't like him here this afternoon. So I'm against both the favorites.
All right.
And I just want to give some respect real quick to Next Shares. I mean, come on, how do you not love an 8-year-old who in 2018, he was 3rd in this race to the aforementioned Hunt and behind Heart to Heart. And then in the 2020 edition, 2nd to Raging Bull. I mean, this is a tough horse. It's, I'm not picking him, but I gotta have some respect for the fact that he's been so consistent.
I think there's a little bit of an argument to be made that, he generally runs well first off the layoff. So perhaps there's a chance for some improvement here. Look, he just hasn't looked like himself of late. And, when he's at the top of his game, it certainly he could win this race when he's at the top of his game, especially if he gets a little bit of a setup. For me, it's a question of, will he get a setup? Is anyone going to go with Smooth Like Straight? And then secondly, is he, getting a little older now and maybe just doesn't have that same turn of foot. But to your point, I mean, I think he's just a cool, fun horse to root for. Before we move off and Say the Word, I did want to take a quick look back at the race we mentioned, the Elkhorn Stakes. You'll see that he makes a rally to the outside of Channel Cat as they turn for home together. And that's where we'll pick up this Breeders' Cup backtrack of the Elkhorn.
Red Knight is 5th. They turn for home. Channel Cat, Say the Word, going 1-2. Fantasioso is running late on the far outside, has gone to 3rd, 5 from the lead. North Dakota dives to the rail. Say the Word with a head in front. Channel Cat is fighting on in the 2nd position. Fantasioso, Crafty Daddy, the North Dakota 5th. Say the Word in front for Luis Saez, his 3rd win on the day.
And the Channel Cat won the Man of War. So
That's exactly it. So you know what, like you're like, we're so here. Like I'm like, you know what? I was like, we're going to show that, then we're going to mention, the horse came out of that one minute. Like like you make life so easy, Ren.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to be your Wonder Woman.
You are, and I love the gifts. By the way, the gifts really brought it home. If you don't know what we're talking about, check out Ren's Twitter feed.
That's right.
Let's talk real quickly about another horse in here who's taking a little bit of money. Your third choice right now, Whisper Not.
The winner.
The winner. Okay.
The winner. Yeah.
He's my second pick. Well, I mean, look at me. I'm being creative here.
Tell us.
No, I know.
Whisper Not is an interesting horse because he, on multiple occasions, has been entirely unrateable. And he's just been into the bit and running his eyeballs out early on, and you can't get him to relax at all. You go back to March 6th. There were 2 races at a mile on turf run that day. One was an allowance race that Whisper Not won. The other one was the Grade 1 Kilrow Mile. And there was much to do about the final time and the speed figures that were awarded to the horses who ran in the Kilrow versus the horses in the allowance, because the allowance race was considerably faster on the clock than the Kilrow was. But that's where speed figures, there has to be an element of subjectivity to it, where you go through and look at it, and it didn't seem likely that an allowance horse, an N1X type, was going to run that much faster than Grade 1 caliber runners. Although now in hindsight, you actually may have reason to believe that Whisper Not should have earned a figure on par with those of the likes of Smooth Like Straight or Hit the Road. He backed it up with the San Francisco Mile, a race where he actually rated kindly. Mid-pack, 3-4 path, took advantage, went and ran down a classy filly who we'll see later on, Keeper of the Stars. She's running in the Gamely. To me, Whisper Not is the key to the race, because if he is as good as some of his races recently have looked, he's every bit as good as these horses. And I think there's even a scenario in which, if we can get him to the front, if for whatever reason Smooth Like Straight and the folks down on the inside think this horse is just not classy enough and he'll come back to them, I think he'll make them pay. Conversely, if Smooth Like Straight is intent on the lead, if we can get a trip similar to the one that he pulled in the San Francisco Mile most recently, I think Whisper Not, based on the price as well, I think he makes plenty of sense in here, and he's the horse I'm picking in here to win.
Matt, am I wrong? And I kind of, suggested this a moment ago. Like, I feel like Smooth Like Straight runs his best races when he's not on the lead. I know he's got a wire-to-wire win. He won like the La Jolla or something last year. But generally speaking, it seems like they like placing him just off the pace setter. I think that scenario you just described, Whisper Not getting to the lead, could happen.
And if it does, the key is going to be, can he just relax? Can he take any kind of a breath out there? Because if he's just unrateable and he goes out there and opens up by 7 lengths, these horses are good enough that I think they would make him pay. Frankly, if that happened, those who say the word would probably be thrilled, because there's going to be enough pace in there for this thing to fall apart. But if you can get out there to the lead, and to your point, Dan, I agree with you. I think Smooth Like Straight is better with a target in front of him as opposed to being the one actually cutting out the fractions. If you can get a half mile in that 46-4 range, 46-3 for Whisper Not, and he's doing it relatively kindly and comfortably, I think he's got a big chance in here.
Ren, I'm going to want your take in a moment on Whisper Not. Before we do, I just want to show briefly, backtrack to the San Francisco Mile, which Whisper Not won last out.
Whisper Not is cruising at the top of the lane on the outside. Here comes Whisper Not and Giovanni Franco making a bit to the front. Diamond Blitz calls it an afternoon. Whisper Not has the lead now. Keeper of the Stars digging in on the inside, trying to go with him. Whisper Not head in front. Keeper of the Stars, the Grade 1 winners, determined on the inside. Whisper Not, Keeper of the Stars. Whisper Not. Whisper Not says, no, you don't.
I really like that music too, I have to say. I keep getting distracted because I'm like jamming out as I'm watching them running down the stretch. But yeah, as Matt already mentioned, Keeper of the Stars, we're going to see her later trying to defend her title in the Gamely Stakes. But for those of you out there saying, "Oh, he beat a filly," that was such a bad field there in the San Fran at all. And I love the way he finished. He finished with determination. Going back to when he faced off against Smooth Like Straight in the Mathis Brothers Mile, it says he was pulling early. That's legitimate. He looked very keen, and the fact that he still ran pretty well to get up and get the shodo, I definitely think this is a horse who fits. I would not be surprised if he does go ahead and win. I actually went 2-6-3 in this race. So, I just basically echo what Matt already went over.
Okay. Well, look, we want to hear from the folks watching. Your last chance here. Tell us who you think is going to win the Shoemaker Mile. This is the first domestic win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series underway. Triple Crown almost behind us. We'll get into our Belmont Stakes picks momentarily, but here they go in the Shoemaker Mile.
Shoemaker Mile. Crossfire Hurricane was just standing still when the gate opened. Smooth Like Straight comes out very nicely. Restrained Vengeance up close. And Whisper Not headstrong in the early stages. Giovanni Franco has a handful. A gap of 4 lengths back to Next Shares. On the inside of Say the Word, and 2 more to Crossfire Hurricane. Smooth Like Straight hugs the rail and leads by 3/4 of a length. Restrained Vengeance is in between horses, and outside of him, Whisper Not. This trio has pulled 6 lengths clear of Next Shares in 4th. Then comes Say the Word, and another 4 to Crossfire Hurricane. They're heading toward the half-mile pole in the Shoemaker Mile. And it's Smooth Like Straight, in hand by a half length. Restrained Vengeance, Whisper Not. These 3 continue to keep the pressure on one another. They've now pulled more than 8 lengths in front of Next Shares. Say the Word outside of him. Crossfire Hurricane has trailed throughout. Smooth Like Straight approaches the quarter pole with a 3/4 length lead. Whisper Not takes second. Restrained Vengeance is dropping out of it. Next Shares gathering momentum. So is Say the Word. They're at the top of the stretch, and Smooth Like Straight spurts clear. Opens up 3 big lengths. On the far outside, Say the Word is trying to rally, but Smooth Like Straight is putting in a tremendous performance in the Shoemaker Mile, and he is going to make short work of the competition. Smooth Like Straight all the way. Say the Word finished with interest second. Then it was Restrained Vengeance third, and Next Shares finished 4th. The running.
Did they go 46-2?
46-2, yeah.
Yeah. McCarthy bookending the field. I mean, that was awesome. And kudos also just the class of Say the Word getting up for second.
Yep.
That obviously is a really, really nice racehorse, but Smooth Like Straight, thankfully, I didn't make his stablemate my top pick. He was my top pick, and I got, what did he go off? Was it even like?
Yeah, 3-5. Wow.
Woo! Oh, wow. Odds on. What's up?
It looked like a lot of the comments here, just looking at the viewer comments, people did land on Smooth Like Straight. Hey, look, a win is a win. And
did we expect Restrained Vengeance to look like Restrained Vengeance out there so close up? I mean, the horse had shown some, had sat closer to the pace earlier on in his career, but it hasn't really done that in quite a while.
The horse held for third too. I mean, at 19-1, I mean, outlasted Whisper Not. I mean, that's a bit of a shocker there. Well, in that San Francisco Mile, which you showed the replay of, when they turned for home, Restrained Vengeance was not even on the screen, but he rallied to finish third. Got a really weird ride in that race. Was just completely out of it, and then rallied. I think there may be some potential with this horse. I mean, considering he was up there, and we saw how fast they were going early. I mean, and between horses and looking like really keen in between, he wanted to go. That horse was loaded. Oh, yeah. Matt, any other takeaways before we bring in our first guest?
Yeah, I just, I thought some of the tactics were a little curious, and it's easy for me to sit here and say that when you see the fractions. I mean, it was an honest clip. I don't think it was electric, but, with a horse like Whisper Not, do you really need to be parked 3-4 path the entire way? I think you got to make a decision. I think you either go and commit to going. Apparently it would have taken 46 flat to clear to the front, but you either make a decision to go or take back. I don't think you park yourself 3-4 path. Not that it may not have made any difference. He may have still finished 5th or whatever he ended up, but a little bit curious to me. And again, you know what? Smooth Like Straight is where I to a fault, I look at the lead change sort of situation. probably that last run against better horses, the left lead late, was probably just being tired at the mile and an eighth as opposed to anything else. But
and for that other race, for the race prior to that, the excuse could have been just coming off a really long layoff.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. Absolutely. May have needed the race. Maybe just got a little bit goofy there, and you figured you were going to get a tighter version. And look, he ran his eyeballs out at Churchill. I just think the distance probably got to him. So, you can overthink things a little bit. I'll say I'm guilty of that for this one. But
you're the only one. We never do that. Dan and I are always just on point.
Right, exactly. Just wait.
I just did think it was a curious decision on the outside. I think you got to decide either you're going to go or you're going to sit. Don't park yourself out there and no man's land.
Yeah, look, I mean, maybe it's the beer, but that was a terrible ride. It was just a bad ride. It was a bad ride. There were bad rides. Like, you could have either gone with the horse has enough speed to get to the lead. And I bet a pick, like my bet in this race, I bet a big pick 3 with Smooth Like Straight. I didn't realize it was going to be 3 to 5. I wanted Smooth Like Straight to win. I was thrilled to see Whisper Not park 3 wide all the way around, about a half a length off. But it was not optimal. It was just not a very smart thing to do. You could have either gone to the lead. The horse has enough speed. He's previously done a 22 and 4 and 45 and 1/2. You could either do that or you could take back like he's done, which is also works for him. So, Matt, kudos to you for being, a little more,
Hey man, we wear wins and losses at the same time. So you got to accept it. If you're going to take the praise when you're right, you got to take the lumps when you're wrong.
That's exactly it. And let me give some praise here just to balance it out. I want to mention my boy, Trevor McCarthy. You guys know, like, I'm a big, Maryland guy. I've been close friends with a lot of people on the circuit for a long time. Trevor McCarthy, who started in Maryland, Laurel, Pimlico, just moved out to Santa Anita on Friday, picked up his first win a couple of races before we came on live. So congrats to Trevor. Just thrilled for him. Just an awesome dude. I don't know if either of you have met him before, but he's just a good dude.
He's taller tan your average jockey.
He is. He might be taller than me, which it probably isn't saying much, but I mean, he's still.
Can we also really quickly just give a shout out to the namesake of this race in Bill Shoemaker, who, by the way, also rode Gamely, the namesake of our nightcap. I mean, my gosh, just the stats on him alone are incredible. And I highly recommend anybody, if you want to learn about Bill Shoemaker, one of the best jockeys to ever ride, just head over to the Racing Hall of Fame, the Derby, or you could even go to the derbymuseum.org website and you can check that out. They've got all the stats. But suffice it to say, he's ridden some of the greatest horses of all time. And it's always fun to go back and look at just some of those names. Like, I mean, even Damascus. I love Damascus.
Well, here I wanted to show this real quick because we will get to this momentarily. Rushy in the next at Santa Anita. We've got 2 more Grade 1 races coming up.
I'm sorry, I can't let go of my head. Ferdinand too, duh. Breeders' Cup.
You are the Breeders' Cup like history.
I'm the ambassador. What's up?
You are the ambassador. Well, we've got one more Breeders' Cup ambassador who's going to join us momentarily. We will talk about Rushy and the Hollywood Gold Cup. We'll talk about the Gamely as well. Let's right now, though, bring in our next guest, Haley Ambus, with the Breeders' Cup. Haley, how are you?
Hey, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I'm doing a lot better than the last time I saw you.
I know. I'm so sorry to hear about that food poisoning. That did not sound like a fun experience.
Should we talk about it? Because Ren hasn't really shared. Ren, tell us.
Okay, real quick. I told Dan before we started the show, I'm so happy to be back because I feel like I now have a chance to redeem myself. I was all set and excited to co-host the Derby show for ABR with the guys. And earlier in the day, I did this great meet and greet with Gary Stevens. We had awesome Q&A sessions. And then, I don't know, something I ate did not sit right with me. And it could have been the night before. I'm not, because the food there was delicious. So I'm not blaming Churchill. But I was literally on the feed with you guys. And you guys are talking to me about Medina Spirit, if I think the track's going to, or whatever, how I think the chances are going to go there. And I'm talking, and anybody, if you want to watch it back and laugh at me, you can, because you can actually see me go, yeah, I think that I heard in an interview. And then the next thing I'm like, I got to go. I'll be right back. I literally.
Oh, jeez.
And then I just couldn't, I had to tap out because I couldn't even look at myself on the screen. If you watch, I'm going like this constantly, trying to get myself to feel okay. Finally, I had to do what I had to do. And I told Haley this. as I was walking, because I finally felt better a little bit, enough to enjoy the race, at least the Derby, I'm walking past the paddock ahead of it, and I hear all the Hot Rod Charlie guys standing outside the paddock going, Chuck, 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 Chuck. And I'm thinking, you guys have no idea. Anyway, that's my Derby story.
Ren, always short on those embarrassing details. So always.
I could have gotten much more graphic, but I want people to keep the barbecue down.
What's funny is like we chalked it up to Wi-Fi issues. We're like, man, the signal's really poor out there. You know, like
the signal was really poor out.
Yeah, right.
You could have just gone with that.
Oh my gosh. I think that was probably the first time that ever on any of your streams anyway, that you literally, again, I'm using the word literally because it's literally during the live show.
Well,
it happens.
It does happen. You're there all the time, and you're always powering through. And we're going to hope that you're going to power through with us for this next hour, because we still have a lot more action coming up. We've got the Hollywood Golds Cup, and we've got the Gamely, but there was only one Breeders' Cup win your in race today. That was the Shoemaker Mile, which you just saw a moment ago. Smooth Like Straight, punching his ticket to the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. And I know, Haley, that what that means is, the entry fees are paid for. There's a travel allowance of $10,000 for all domestic starters that are not based in California. Of course, Smooth Like Straight is, but if you came in and you're based elsewhere, they, Breeders' Cup would provide the travel fees as well. Tell us, first of all, how cool and exciting this is to finally kick off Breeders' Cup season.
Yeah, so today was the first domestic win in race. We have been doing a couple starting since January of this year. So, but really exciting to see Santa Anita launch the first with the Shoemaker Mile. We come back next weekend at the Belmont, and we will be rolling with 3 win-in-your-ends next weekend. One of them will be on NBC, along with the Belmont Stakes undercard coverage, which is going to be the Hillendale Metropolitan. And then we'll also have the Jackpot Jaipur Stakes and the Ogden Phipps, which will also be some win-in-your-ends. So it's really exciting because these horses are the best of the best. So you get to start following and keeping up with them now, leading up to December, and really starting to build your team that you're going to root for and keep up with leading up to November in Del Mar.
Yeah, and it's, first of all, good job on squeezing the sponsor names in. You absolutely you need them for every one of these.
I practiced before I got online.
You nailed it. Another did you know here on the bottom of the screen, there are 2 new Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races this year. The Suburban Stakes on July 3rd at Belmont Park, and also the Calumet Kentucky Cup on September 11th at Kentucky Downs. I practiced too, Haley.
Proud of you.
So that's pretty cool, though. Look, this series is constantly evolving and expanding. And Matt, for you as someone who's covered a lot of these races over time on NBC, just talk about sort of the transition, this time of year as we move out of Triple Crown into Breeders' Cup.
Well, you get to see all the best horses of all the divisions. And I think that's the thing that I like most about the Challenge Series is, we go through these months leading into the Triple Crown, and everybody's talking about the 3-year-olds and who's doing what and who's going to ship where and run in what race. I like that now we get to see more divisions sort of highlighted and showcased. Not to throw shade at the 3-year-olds, but I like the older horses. I like the filly and mare sprinters. I like the male sprinters and the turf division and you name it. So I think it's a good opportunity for folks who, especially for those that aren't the day in and day out folks like we all are, to sort of maybe, earmark. You see a race on Belmont Stakes undercard and you see, the Met Mile and whomever ends up running well there. Okay, well, maybe that's a horse that I'll hear from later on down the road in whatever race it ends up being and things like that. So I just think to me, it's always been my favorite stretch leading into the Breeders' Cup. And it starts obviously right now. It's here this afternoon domestically. But I like seeing these horses and getting sort of the ideas laid out ahead of time of who we may be seeing that first weekend in November down at Del Mar.
Ren, do you have a favorite division? I heard Matt say he likes the older horses. How about you? Do you have a favorite Breeders' Cup race?
Your Stars Friday card, the whole card. What are you talking about? No. No, as far as Super Saturday goes on Breeders' Cup, I'm a classic gal. I do. I love the classic. And I really do enjoy the mile. I think it's a fun race. The turf racing is always fabulous. And part of that is because I just feel you see a lot more of the international can obviously influence given those races and the pedigrees that go along with them. But yeah, I love the Classic because if you really go and you look at it, and actually the Classic, the Mile and the Dirt Mile, those are sire maker races. They really are. Curlin, right? Just, we're already seeing the influence of a horse like Liam's Map and just different horses who have gone through the Breeders' Cup program. They go on to be sires. And for a petty geek like me, it's so fun that then when I'm looking at these horses for Future Stars Friday to see the influences of those horses there in those same ones who are trying to, reach the same level as their predecessors.
It's cool. One of the comments here, Alex Roth, he's sold. He doesn't need to see any more. He Smooth Like Straight right now. Book it.
All in.
I'll tell you what, one of the things about a horse like that, and I don't know if I would be, will be so bold, but we've seen time and time again at the mile, being able to be right there, be close to the front end and still have a little bit left in the tank, when we turn for home and you've got those deep closers, whether the Euros or any of our domestic horses that have got a big late turn of foot, if you can get that head start on them, you just have that natural advantage. I feel like a broken record. I sound like a broken record, always talking about Wise Dan and Tepin. That was the brilliance of them to me. They had the ability to be close to the front and they still had a finish. This horse is very much cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a lot of comments here that I haven't put up on the screen talking about Rushy and Royal Ship. We promise we will not only analyze the Hollywood Gold Cup, we will show it to you live. We're going to have live coverage and live video of the Hollywood Gold Cup and of the Gamely coming up momentarily. Right now, we are, again, excited to be joined by Haley Ambus at the Breeders' Cup. Haley, we've had you on over time, talking, giving us, perspective from obviously your dad's barn, Serengeti Empress. We've had you talking, on big race days. What has it been like? Tell us about what you're doing at Breeders' Cup. Tell us how, what's going on. What's the new role?
So I joined Breeders' Cup at the beginning of March, and I divide my time between social media and doing PR. So I'm doing a little bit of both. I like to I tell my boss, Justin, all the time that it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because PR and social media are two different things, but they have to come together to create the perfect sandwich. So I handle both. I work a little bit in both, and we are, trying to do some innovative ideas. I know Ren and I have been talking about some fun Future Star Friday angles that we can take on our social channels, and as well as keeping up with the trends on social. I know we are planning to launch our first TikTok on Belmont weekend with the Win in Your Ends. I'll be up there along with my colleague from Grand Slam Social. They're fantastic to work with, and we'll be launching that together.
Matt's huge on TikTok, right?
Oh, I see.
I don't have a TikTok. I'm going to have to download it to, make sure I am apprised of all the action.
Absolutely. You got to do a cameo too. So.
Oh, okay.
I
love how Ren was like, I have to download the TikTok on the
TikTok.
Yeah. It keeps me young, guys.
Well, how do you stay innovative? I'll ask a question. How do you try to stay ahead of the social media curve?
I think it's important to always have your ear on what's going on, not just in the horse industry, but in the sports industry in general, as well as even looking a little bit outside of that. So TikTok has been something that I know the Grand Slam team has been monitoring for a very long time. And when I came on board, that was something I had been keeping up with personally. And I thought that, it's a great opportunity to connect with a younger audience, do a combination of educating as well as entertaining. And I think that that's really important for that up-and-comer generation. So we got 30 seconds to really catch their attention and get them excited. So it's a fun challenge to take on.
Will you be doing any special dances to promote?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a Twitter poll or something. It's gonna take a lot for me to dance on our social media channels, I will tell you.
How do we not get Zenyatta on there?
Oh yeah, well, we've got a list of things that we're working on, so you can just want to see her. Yeah.
Well, I am gonna keep my eye out for that. I got it again. Download the app.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's going to be, we've already created the page, but like I said, we're not launching until Belmont Week. So it's at Breeders' Cup on TikTok. So
very cool. While we are chatting here, I'm just going to throw up some of the live video we have.
Don't throw up, Dan. Don't throw up.
Wrong choice of words with this company. This is those are the odds, the live odds right now for the Hollywood Gold Cup at Santa Anita.
Do you want to hear something really funny though, real quick? So after I did what I did that day, I texted Matt and I said I threw up, or I said no, before I did it, I'm sorry, I said I think I'm gonna throw up. He said, was it a bad bet?
You would think it was exactly like it's sick.
Horseplayer problems.
Been there before.
Horseplayer problems, yes.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan. Let's make it serious.
No,
again.
I mean, I'm just, I just try to talk Hollywood Gold Cup, which I shouldn't because we have Hamilton. We'll talk only Breeders' Cup. We should.
That's right.
But as the horses are heading down to the track there, the 6 horse that you see going by, one of the long shots, 235 at 25 to 1. Horse on the outside, the 7 horse though is your favorite. That's Express Train, a horse that I like a lot. Just going back to the top of the field there, the 1 horse who getting a little frisky there, right? Royal Ship, 3 to 1 right now. The 2 horse also 3 to 1. That's Country Grammar, second start for Bob Baffert. The 3 horse, Brown Storm. Talk about Michael McCarthy. This guy is everywhere with his horse.
Yes.
That's another one here, Brown Storm. The 3 horse, 10 to 1. Bet down from the 20 to 1 morning line. The 4 horse is Haywood's Beach. Allowance winner, last out, comes back in this company. And then Rushy. A lot of people in the comments talking about Rushy. So what do we think? Who wants to talk about Rushy? Anybody have a strong feeling on Rushy?
I mean, the only thing I'll say, I'm not totally convinced about 1.25 miles, but I think he's a very nice horse. I could see him being another dirt mile type. We saw him run in that race last year, and perhaps it was just maybe a little bit too much too soon for him at that point in his career. I thought the Oaklawn Mile was a solid effort. I'm a big fan of By My Standards. He may not be a proper grade 1 type, but he's a grade 1, grade 2 sort of runner in that older male division. So I thought Rushy acquitted himself just fine that day, and I think you get a step forward. The question I have, again, just boils down to how far does he want to go? 1.25 miles might be pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it's respectable, certainly, to come up only a nose short when it's By My Standards getting the better of you, and you hadn't raced since the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. So, I mean, a real nice horse. I didn't make him a top 3 pick for myself. I'm a chalk eating weasel again here with the 7, but I do like the 4 a bit. Haywood's Beach. I think he's pretty interesting, and a Breeders' Cup tie-in to him is he is actually a half brother to Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf champion and multi-millionaire Stephanie's Kitten. So obviously it makes sense that he had been on grass for so long, but I do think it's quite impressive in just his second start on a main track, going the 1.25 mile distance right there at Santa Anita. He was able to win by 2 3/4 lengths. Now you can say, well, who did he beat? Well, I mean, that's fair. Definitely it's fair. I will say the horse that he finished 1.5 lengths back in third of in the race 2 back, Lambeau. Well, he next set the pace in the triple bend before tiring out. But I think this horse has some upside. Speightstown, you might think sprint, but he can really get you any kind. And like I already said, he's won at 1.25 miles. Can he do it here in a grade 1? Well, that we have to see. But then between the other 2 horses on the inside who are also, obviously taking money, Royal Ship and Country Grammar. The excuse for Country Grammar could be, well, hey, actually ran really well, but to come up short a neck, well, that was his first race since August, the Travers. So he could certainly come back second off the layoff even stronger. But I do have to say, coming out of that barn, that they're going to be fit and ready to roll even off the layoff. So I am more keen on Royal Ship. Personally, I think the horse also slightly a little bit longer, which you want to see for 1.25 mile race in terms of his conformation. And the other thing I felt that was kind of interesting, because it is a Breeders' Cup show, I just want to say real quick, Midshipman won the 08 Juvenile. He was third in the 09 Dirt Mile, and then the Dam there by Val Royale. How fun is this? He won the 2001 Breeders' Cup Mile, and he himself a son of the winner of the 90 edition in Royal Academy.
Oh,
the Breeders' Cup through and through.
Breeders' Cup through and through. Yeah.
Now, do you really have this all in your head, or how much time do you spend?
I take notes. I do take notes, but I will say, one other mention I want to make. The other dirt start he had in the native diver where it says stumbled, bump, break, that was freaking legitimate. Oh my goodness. I have written down so bad. So bad. But yeah, I think he's a very nice horse. And he looked beautiful going out there onto the track, I have to say. He looks very fit and happy.
One of the horses you mentioned that kind of stood out to me, Haywood's Beach, I think is a logical play with that $10 cash back bet. I think the horse makes sense to run into a share of it. I don't know if he could jump up into this level, into this sort of company and win. But with the way he's been going last couple of races for John Sadler, I got to believe Haywood's Beach might run into a slice of it. At 9-1, I'd take a shot there. Want to do this. We're going to come back to the race in a moment. We're going to play the race for you. You're going to hear the sound. We've got our next guest in the green room. So, but before we let Haley go, I want Haley to
keep her.
We could keep her. I mean, I know, like, I don't
want to take something better to do.
Monday. I mean, she's busy. But you're on mute. Wait, did we mute you or did you mute you? You may have muted yourself.
That was, sorry, my dog was making some hacking noise, and I was like, that is not what they need in the background of this video, especially after Ren's story. So I just muted myself. But yeah, no, I actually have to go. I have to do some Breeders' Cup stuff in addition to congratulating our new Win and You're In horses. So, but I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's fun. I love doing this.
All right. Well, it's just beginning. Challenge Series Road to the Breeders' Cup is just kicking off. I'm sure we'll do a lot more with you as we get closer to November. So, Haley, thank you for taking a few minutes, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Haley.
Bye, Haley.
Bye.
Haley Ambus there with the Breeders' Cup, and just like that, our old friend.
What's up? I was expecting a cape. Or at least a little bit of spandex. Come on, man.
Dan, that is a shirt, Dan. What is that? What is happening today?
I'm trying to get into that summer vibe, man. It's
you need to wear that. You need to wear that to Vegas.
Summer for Dan. Look at that thing. Jonah and the Tordjmans. Look at that thing. That is nice.
Hey, Bram, I waited until you got on to share this little bit of breaking news here that we got before the show started. Mandatory payout in the 20-cent pick six next Sunday. So don't blow all your money at the Belmont. If the pool carries until then, the folks at Santa Anita tell us they're expecting $3 million to be in the pool. Bram, I know I've always been really good at sucking money out of you for these group tickets. How much you willing to invest in that one?
What do you need, Dan? Just give me the number. Give me the number. And like 2 drinks in at the Belmont on Saturday, the number goes up. Remember, you're asking me now after I just grilled a bunch of stuff outside. So you get me about 3-4 o'clock on Saturday at Belmont. I think the number can go up. So just tell me what you need. How about that?
Let me think about it.
I'm in for $3 million. Let's go.
Depends how much Bram and Matt are in for. So, how much Red and Matt are in for. And if we
can I ask Matt a hockey question before we talk about racing?
Certainly. I hate to do. I keep looking over my shoulder here. I've got the Bruins on. They're already up 1-0.
Go ahead, Bram. What was Vegas thinking? Pulling their goalie at game 1 against the best team in the NHL, then getting run, and then having their coach come out and try to defend the decision. That was remarkably stupid. But if
you believe the logic, which again, the idea of Marc-Andre Fleury needing a game, I get it. He's 36 years old at this point. He's got a lot of miles on him, but unless he absolutely needed the day, I mean, I don't know. They were trending the wrong direction coming out of that Minnesota series. Frankly, I think it was, I don't want to say a miracle that they got out of it, but I thought they were going to win in 5. And when they laid the egg at home and then went back up to Minnesota where they've had their troubles this year, and it went back to Vegas for game 7, it just seemed like a weird recipe. And then I don't know what you want to do with them, but Colorado just looks like a machine right now.
They do.
You know, everybody talks about all the firepower they have, and I don't want to hijack this and turn this into a hockey show, but Philip Grubauer might be a top 3 goaltender in the NHL, and he's kind of an afterthought with that team. So, I mean, more and more, it looks like it's going to be a Colorado sort of situation where you're going to have to beat them if you want to beat anyone to get the job done. But I have an eager eye on the Bruins game right now, and I believe first intermission for the Canadians and Leafs.
My heart always hurts now when I hear the word hockey because my Red Wings have sucked for so many years now. I just can't. Oh gosh, I miss the days of Yzerman out on the ice.
Stevie Y, Fedorov.
Oh my gosh,
Konstantinov, Lariat, yeah.
It was so good. It was so good.
We're getting a lot of comments and selections here for the Hollywood Gold Cup. Matt, we heard your take on Rushy. Sounded kind of lukewarm. Where are you going here?
Yeah, I mean, really, to me, the crux of the entire race is the Californian, because if either of those two horses coming out of it, Royal Ship or Country Grammar, run back to that race, simply put, they're just faster than everyone else. I watched the most recent workout from Country Grammar on XBTV, and by no means am I a workout expert, but at the same time, I think there's elements, similar pieces where you watch replays and whatnot. I didn't love the work. Accordingly, I'm going to lean toward the inside with Royal Ship in here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just be aggressive and go out of there. Express Train, I think he's a nice horse. I just didn't like the effort and the horses that he ran against down at Oaklawn. And at the price, I think Royal Ship is the play.
All right, Bram.
Country Grammar, thank you very much. Evil Bob is back, and he's going to steal this one here with Pratt. I like he ran a close second to him last go when the two up against each other. He set the pace in that last one. Typically doesn't do that. I don't think he will here, and I think he's going to win going away. I like Country Grammar.
All right, I'm on Express Train. Ren, I think you're with me, right?
I'm on the train, baby. I'm on the train, but I'm going 7-4-1.
Travis has you as the most interesting woman in the world.
Hey, what's up? Thank you. I try to keep it spicy.
6 in my exotics, by the way, second or third. I like that one. 6 coming in second or third here.
All right, they're all loaded. Thank everyone for dropping your picks. Let's hear the call on the Hollywood Gold Cup.
Hollywood Gold Cup. Royal Ship broke best. Country Grammar is right up alongside. Brown Storm is in the firing line, and 2:35 makes it 4 virtually across the track. Express Train, who broke outward, is now moving closer to the inside. Haywood's Beach is just inside of that rival, and Rushy. It's a very compact field, and the long shot Brown Storm will set the pace while racing well off the rail. Now he's going over toward the inside and leads by a length and a half. Country Grammar is in second. 2:35 is outside of that pair. Rushy saving ground nicely along the inside of Haywood's Beach. Just behind them, Royal Ship and a little bit of traffic, about 3 or 4 off the lead. And outside of him, it's Express Train. They have 5.5 furlongs to go in the Hollywood Gold Cup. And it's Brown Storm carving out the fractions by a length, tracked intently by Country Grammar. Rushy inches up a little bit closer in third. Haywood's Beach in tight. Royal Ship making an early move. There goes Royal Ship all the way up to take third. 2:35 is just outside of him. An Express Train, 3 lengths front to back past the half-mile pole. And it's still Brown Storm with a narrow advantage. Country Grammar in second. Royal Ship is now within a half length, 3 wide in third. Rushy fourth. Express Train on the outside. Haywood's Beach in 2:35. Midway on the far turn, Country Grammar and Royal Ship square off, putting away Brown Storm. Behind them, Rushy and Express Train past the quarter pole and turning for home. Royal Ship and Country Grammar. Royal Ship takes a narrow lead. Country Grammar will fight him all the way. 3 more back to Rushy in third. They're in the final furlong, and Royal Ship is just in front. At the rail, Country Grammar, resilient, fighting back, retaking the lead, and it's Country Grammar and Flavien Prat to win the Hollywood Gold Cup.
Wow.
Royal Ship just missed. That was very close.
All right, I didn't love the ride in Express Train that time.
No, I didn't. Neither did I. But hey, that was pretty exciting right there. Turn the tables on him. We got a little bit of a rivalry here. That's fun.
Matt, that was a replay of the last race. I mean, that was the Californian.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, I have to assume, it's difficult with these races at a mile and a quarter. They run them so infrequently that, time, do with that what you will. We got to go back and see how the track is playing. But I would assume they ran something similar from a speed figure standpoint that they ran in the Californian. They were a country mile ahead of everyone else. I mean, these may very well be 2 of the better older horses right now at this sort of classic distance out at a mile and a quarter. So assuming they can stay sound and healthy, I don't think we've heard the last of these 2.
Yeah, no, that was I didn't see the final odds there. It seemed like they were well, oh wait, I guess Country Grammar did go off favorite 9-5.
Yeah.
Well,
And I got to be honest with you, give credit to Country Grammar for digging back in the way that he did. I'm always reluctant to say that the distance got to so-and-so who was ahead in deep stretch, a horse like Royal Ship, because he was right there with him. It's not as though he completely came to a stop. I think Country Grammar just dug back in and came back on the inside to get the job done. So I think both of these horses fit at 1.25 miles. Again, I think they're probably both going to be pretty legitimate speed figures in that 105, 110 range. If that's the case, and you think, especially if Express Train, who I assume ran third, I don't know for certain. I think he ran his race. He ran 100.
Yep.
I mean, I think it all checks out. I think it's probably a pretty formful sort of situation.
Curtis,
I just learned that I need to come on these things with 2 minutes to go to a race and just tell you what my gut feeling is. Then I'll be right. So
Sorry, I just got
the longer I think about it, that's where I get into a problem.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the horse obviously showed pretty dramatic.
I need to see the start of that race again, though, because it looked in the beginning, I kind of missed it. It looked like Rushy had a bad start, and I don't know if that affected Haywood's Beach at all, because Haywood obviously, maybe he just was not good enough to contend with these horses. I don't know. The start looked a little as though there was a kerfuffle of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
That should be on the running line, kerfuffle. Why don't we have that word ever in the line?
That's a great name.
So long, right?
Love it. There were a couple of comments that specifically called out Flavian Pratt moving to Country Grammar. It didn't hurt. It certainly didn't hurt there. And, you know, in terms of Rushy, I thought Rushy ran a nice race, all things considered. I think all of us were like, nah. I mean, 1.25 miles for Rushy, that seems a bit aggressive. But ran a decent race. I mean, probably, you know, it's probably best at, you know, 1 to 1.1 miles. But anyway, I thought ran a decent race. And Express Train, I mean, I would give Express Train another look next time out. I mean, that was just not, you know, he was way back there. He was 4 or 5 wide. And, you know, it's obviously not a winning recipe. And prior to this, had run really well at Santa Anita every single time. I mean,
right.
Terribly here. I mean, he finished third, but I feel like he, you know,
I don't know. You know, I'll give the horse a bit of a mulligan, but I don't know they had a ton of excuse to be as seemingly flat as he was.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the one thing you could say potentially is that even coming back to Santa Anita and the fact that he has run very well with obviously without Lasix, and then he had the Lasix for Oaklawn handicap, now back off it again. I don't know. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. And maybe it's just wasn't, you know, a day that he felt ready to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
I think when the numbers come back, it's going to kind of show that he kind of ran his race.
You think?
Yeah, and he just again, I'd have to look at it again. What he beaten probably 5 lengths, somewhere thereabouts. I think that's probably puts him. I mean, his last 4 races have been 99, 103, 102, 99. And I know some other speed figures vary slightly, but I think he's probably ran his close to 100. And I think the top 2 probably ran close to that 108 or 110 range from that most recent start. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it was a pretty formful race. Rushy probably ran somewhere in the 95 range, which he's apt to do. You know, Haywood's Beach, I'd be curious. You know, Ren, you alluded to maybe a little bit of an issue with the start. I'd be interested to see that again.
Yeah, I'd like to see the start again.
Because he certainly is. I think he's faster than that. But then again, you know, that class question comes into play. You know, it's one thing to do it against Bold Endeavor. It's another thing to earn a 100 or a 99 buyer against, you know, horses of this caliber.
Yeah, Country Grammar, second off the layoff. Very nice. And again, I love seeing horses turn the tables on each other. It makes it fun.
So you see the live odds there on the left side. Those are for the Gamely. The next race here, which again, we're going to show you live here. So stick with us. We'll watch the Gamely live. We'll get some analysis here from everyone on the screen. Plus, we are expecting another mystery guest. We'll see if he shows up. We're expecting him.
This one I'm not eating chalk, by the way. Yay.
Oh, good. All right. We're looking forward to that. And usually when you throw a price out, well, I mean, I guess it follows logically. If you're going to give us chalk 95% of the time, when you give us a price, it's because you really like the horse.
Yeah.
Your price is usually factor. So I'm looking forward to hearing that.
I hope.
We're going to see the replay here, I would assume, momentarily of the Hollywood Gold Cup. You take a look at how all the horses got out of the gate. Graham, while we're waiting for the replay, wait, Matt, do you want to say something?
No. How about it?
I was just going to ask Graham about more about his barbecue. I mean, that's it was significant.
Got a new grill, Dan, and I'm really pumped about it. It's a wood pellet grill, so I went that direction. I'm pumped. Like, this thing smokes, it grills. I feel very manly this Memorial Day. I really do. I put together quite a barbecue.
You got the fancy like hickory wood chips.
We went mesquite today, but thank you for asking. I appreciate the specificity that you if nothing else, Red, you are specific about a lot of things, and I really do appreciate the specificity. But we did do mesquite today. I made smoked wings, buffalo style, and a non-buffalo style for the children that are running around in the backyard. We made burgers. We made dogs. I made a pastrami on this thing recently.
Wow!
What?
Yeah.
Pastrami on it. Wow.
That is a pretty Jewish thing to admit to.
Yeah. Look at this look. I want to go for this look. Where would I get those clothes? If I was going to do that at Belmont next week, where would I get that? That's an outfit I'm going for, I think.
I'm piping this guy's audio in. I want to figure out who this is.
Enough. They've just been incredible partners. And, when we started this business, we said we want to create a way for everybody to be able to enjoy this moment, right? It shouldn't be reserved for a select few. And so 2 years later, here we are winning our first Grade 1 race in one of the best tracks in the country with some of our closest friends and members of Commonwealth. So we're very excited.
It really doesn't get much better than that. This was a almost exact replica of his last race, but he got the...
Does anyone know who that is? Ren, you would know this, like who this guy is.
I don't know who he is. I'm sorry. He is very nicely dressed, I will say. That jacket looks like maybe it could be from Theory. It's nice.
So
what am I missing? He's Windstar.
But I've never.
Stephanie says Commonwealth. What should I know what that is? What is Commonwealth?
Come on, Dan. You know everything. Come on. How do you not know who this is?
Do you guys know what Commonwealth is?
No.
I'm just looking at the PPs
because I'm in the Commonwealth. So
I see right? Windstar. I have no idea.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about an ownership
partners at all.
Yeah.
Well, we said Commonwealth. I'm like, Virginia? Like, what's
but Kentucky is the Commonwealth. They are like my racehorse. They're partnered. They're partnered with Windstar. She put it right here. They are like my racehorse. They are partnered with Windstar. That is cool. Right on.
Good to know.
We got to get Stephanie on this show.
There you go. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you're on. What'd you think of the look, Dan? Should I go for that next week? The white jacket, the striped shirt, those glasses.
You can now. You can go white jacket now.
Only if you're growing facial hair these days.
It doesn't work for me. It does not. I've tried in the past. It doesn't work for me. It's not a good look. And I'm man enough to admit it. It doesn't work for me.
Facial hair works for everybody. Why does it not work for you?
Here's a start.
No, because you know what? Because mine is patchy. And it basically looks like a cat licked my face for an hour and a half. So it never grows in a way that I think would be something that I would want to show off. So I can't do that.
I was looking at you and I missed the break again.
So the break wasn't too bad. They got a little bit tight about at the eighth pole.
Yeah.
You put up for excuses. The two best horses came down the stretch neck and neck. That's what happened. Okay, this isn't some surprise. Like, those are the two best horses in this race, and one won by a nose. I mean, come on.
Let us make excuses here, Bram. The 7 broke outward. Express Train would have won by 10 had he not broke.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Hello, come on, people.
I don't know that we can find any excuses for these. Dan, I'm sorry you had to run a 1 5/8 and a 1 1/4 race, but I don't think it would have made a difference.
No, I can admit when I'm wrong. That was bad. It was a bad call in this race. But what's his name? Haywood's Beach did get sort of like sandwiched there, right?
He was sandwiched.
It was mild though, right? I would think that right there is more.
I tried, Ren. I tried.
I appreciate you.
That's not letting us have anything here.
No. Look, again, the beauty of handicapping.
That's right.
You get to determine what you think is important and what's not.
Oh, I see our guest. Our guest has shown.
Oh, fun time.
Let me see. We're going to take this down. Wait, I guess we should watch the end of this. Let's just be cruel not to watch the end of this replay.
This is like cruel and unusual punishment for anybody who just
have grammar.
Well, I mean, the horse was you don't get any big odds on him or anything. But I mean, well, Country Grammar wasn't in my top 3 because I put the other horse over him. So never mind. Royal Ship I thought would get the better still. But so yeah, I didn't have Country Grammar at all, but he ran awesome. It's just so close here at the end.
Looking at the odds on the left side again, we're going to show you that next race live. It's the Gamely.
Yes.
Going to be going 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf, fillies and mares. Your big favorite there, the 2-horse, 7-5, Charmaine's Mia, has won 3 races in a row, and we'll take a look back at some of her races momentarily. And then, look, I'm just looking at this board, and we can come back to this race. I'm seeing a lot
Look
of
at that. Right there, sandwich. Okay, sorry, go ahead. That was a Haywood sandwich right there. Forget the Dagwood. That was a Haywood.
The 4-horse going to Vegas.
That's my pick, but I'm not getting a price on it now.
I mean, so you no longer have a value play. The horse is 2 off the 6-1 money line, which is insane to me. And then the horse I like, which I'll tell you more about momentarily, is 9-2 right now. La Signare, coming out of all grade 1 and grade 2s against beasts. 9-2, please hold right there. I'll put in a big win bet right now. I mean, that's insane, an insane price, 9-2. Anyway, let's get some more analysis and some coverage from a man on the grounds there. Let's remove this. Let's bring in our boy, Giorgio. George.
Hey, George.
What's happening? How's everybody doing?
Good.
What's happening, George?
I'm prepared. Look, bro, I'm super prepared. I got Pepto-Bismol here for Ren. I got some antacid. There's some more. I got some more stuff right here. If the stomach gets too, we can start raining. It starts raining, like, Pepto-Bismol. We're ready. We got Pepto-Bismol going. If it gets too hot, I got a fire extinguisher. We can put out her stomach. If it gets too hot. And so I'm ready, Jack. I'm ready. Here's the fire extinguisher right there. Whoa. She said she was a spicy handicapper. You got to maybe stay away from the spices there.
And George, we know you were watching. Bram, I don't know if Bram was watching. Ren just, and I don't want to.
He knows what happened. I gave him the full lowdown.
Ren recounted her whole. If you remember, we thought she was having Wi-Fi issues at
first. Right.
She was having gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah. I know about this.
No, but this way, not the other way. Not the other way.
Have you, Dan? Have you ever had an email exchange with Ren before? Has that ever happened to you?
They're like novels.
Ren communicates. It's stream of consciousness in her emails. They're very large emails. Which, listen, I'm not complaining. I like this. I like that she's over communicative, but it was with great detail the problems that she had that day. The great detail. It was like, and then at 3:03, my stomach started churning a little bit, and that's when I knew. And I'm like, oh my god.
I like painting pictures with my words.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know what Giorgio likes. He likes pick sixes, and he loves a mandatory payout. George, I'm sure you heard the news earlier today. Mandatory payout next Sunday. We're gonna have to set aside some of our Belmont Stakes budget to attack that. But look, we haven't seen you in a while. How are things going? Are you hitting tickets?
I've been doing pretty good. Very exciting here today, this whole weekend, next weekend, very exciting. I was walking around mingling with the crowd. It's just so exciting to have fans here. It's just great. The Gamely coming up is sponsored by the Thoroughbred Aftercare. So today is we're putting the spotlight on, organizations like Karma, like the Thoroughbred Aftercare, trying to raise money to make sure that these magnificent equine athletes continue on after their career as a horses racing is over. And so, you can go to karmaforhorses.org, or you can go to thoroughbredaftercare.org and give generously, because it's really a worthy cause. We love these animals. We love wagering on them. We love, taking care of them. And so hopefully afterwards, we'll be able to take care of them as well. So I'm pretty excited to be part of that. We had Karma on one of the shows here, the vice president, Howie Zucker. We had Billy Koch. It was pretty exciting. So it's nice because, these are the animals that give us such joy, and we got to make sure we take care of them.
Yeah. We're all 100% with you there. And I think Santa Anita, I mean, all the tracks really do a really nice job. We were at the Preakness a couple of weeks back, and between every race, they had the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance doing a Best Turned Out award. So they're rewarding like the grooms, giving them checks. And
Right.
meanwhile, there's this push to help support the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance and all the accredited organizations. So it's kind of a two-way street with them. And really, I mean, all these organizations, they're, these aren't like, it's not like other like a major league, like other like pro sports where there's like, a specific mechanism through a central office where there are funds funneling into them. They're grinding day after day to be able to support, in a very grassroots way. So it is important. And I think First Racing does a great job with it.
And the Stronach Group, I mean, really, Aiden and Nate Newby, Belinda, they really have put the safety of the horses first. I mean, it really has become a big drive in the last few years to put safety first. A percentage of every dollar that's bet at Santa Anita goes to Karma. So, so every single dollar that's bet, we got some money going back to them. So it's really a worthy cause. We got some shows that we get handicappers on, and if they build their bankroll to over $1,000, we give money to Karma. We had not Michelle Pfeiffer, Jessica Pfeiffer. We had Jessica Pfeiffer on today, and she was wonderful. She is just she's doing so great. The other day she had a 4-bagger. She had 4 wins. The only California female apprentice to ever get 4 wins in a day. And, she had him from on the front end. Sweet Devil came from like last, like Zenyatta flying. So she's just doing great. She's built like a jockey. She's a wonderful young lady. So we wish her the best. But she was on that Karma show. So, we're trying to do the best for these equine athletes.
And that was straight off the set of Scarface that she did all that too, which is
Jessica Pfeiffer.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, she's been a star. There's no doubt. And she's kind of she's been doing it at a time. It's kind of in the run up to the Triple Crown. Everybody's focused on those, like all the Derby races and all the Derby preps. And she's done it sort of quietly in that time. She was just incredibly hot in March and April, and she's continued it now. So she's definitely somebody who, I'm looking forward to, following her career and her progression.
And her father-in-law is killing it as well. Phil Lamato is just a man on fire. He's winning so many races. He's the Sultan of Sod. He's really, because he had a horse called Herman Babe Ruth, and that was the Sultan of Swat. And then I was like, this guy's the Sultan of Sod, man, because he's just killing it. So he's doing good. I think Richie Baltus just turned 60, and he's got a big shot, I think, with Boda Chica in this game lead. So, a lot of exciting things going on here at Santa Anita.
Preach, right. George. Preach.
Preach, baby. Preach.
Bodacita.
All right. Well, let's get into it. There's Bodacita right there. Matt, tell us what you like.
The matriarch, I think you just draw a line through it. Do I need to lay out because of Golden Gate?
Oh yeah, we just went to Golden Gate. All right.
It's the Golden Hour double.
Oh, we got the Golden Hour pick 4, yeah.
You want to leave this up? Do we want to watch?
It's up to you. I'll follow your lead.
Has anyone bet the Golden Hour double?
Yeah, I got 235. What? I got 235. Come on, one of these got to win.
Wait, the 3 is scratch. Oh no, that's
no, that's the Santa Anita. Is this going all too fast here? Come on.
I'll tell you who I like when they get to the wire.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. That's the way to do it.
I saw Let It Ride yesterday again. Man, what a great movie. Trotter and filmed at Hialeah. That was a beautiful track.
He's outstanding in that. Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss was great.
So, George, can I be the Sultana of Spice?
Oh, the Sultana of Spice. I like. Very nice.
You went Italian sounding there.
Did he go Borat on us?
Or maybe it was.
Has anyone ever seen anyone do something like what Richard Dreyfuss did in that movie?
No.
Like letting the money ride, like constantly.
Yeah, just for like 5 races in a row like that. Whatever it is, just let it.
I was just about to say I would throw
crazy.
up. Then I was just about to say that would make me throw up, but then
I've seen show parlays, but not win parlays like that. That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the constitution or the bankroll for something like that. But I've not seen anybody I know with bankroll.
I do with Dan's money.
I couldn't do it with Dan's money either.
46 for a half going 2 turns at Golden Gate. That might as well be 44 on the dirt, right? I mean,
yeah, and all my runners were 1, 2, 3, so that doesn't bode well for me.
Oh no!
My only shot is the 5, but it doesn't look good. I think. Come on, 5.
Oh, I don't know.
Hang in there, 5. Come on, 5. Don't let the vote get you.
Hold on now.
Come on. Hey, look, I'm still alive in the.
Where's the wire?
Wait, wire.
Wire.
Still alive. Golden hour, pick 4. I love that bet. One of my favorite bets.
Right on.
Boy, all right. Well, very good. The 6 hung pretty badly there. That was your best price, though. All right, here's the game lead. We got the horses coming out. Matt was just going to give us a scouting report on Bodhisita, who's the 9 horse, and he's going to be coming into frame right here momentarily.
So Bodhisita is a horse who, if you just play speed figures, she's probably not as good or fast enough to win a race like this. But when you look at the way she runs, especially when you consider the way turf races are typically run, obviously they go faster late than they do early. She has, in my opinion, the best turn of foot in the race. Now, if you want to question her overall class and maybe she can't quite hang, or maybe that late kick isn't quite as potent against better fillies and mares, I won't totally argue with you, but I think you draw a line through the matriarch. If you go through and take a look at her workout pattern leading into that race, it was very spotty, very start and stop. I don't think she was fully fit for that spot. They obviously gave her the sort of winter off and bring her back in a spot like this at 1 1/8. She's run well at Santa Anita in the past, 3 wins in 5 lifetime starts, in the exact of 4 times. And again, when you think about it from a turf standpoint, I want a horse who's going to kick, who's got something down the lane. And to me, she has as good a kick, if not better, than anyone else in this field. I just need her to be reasonably close to the front. I'm not saying she has to be pushing things. She doesn't even need to be mid-pack. But I just don't want to be 15 lengths behind a horse like Charmaine's Mia because she's in raging form. I think the 1 1/8 also works to Bodhisita's favor. Trevor McCarthy, maybe he can get a grade 1 this afternoon.
I'm with you. Last time we started the 1 1/8 was in this race last year. She posted that career best 95 buyer there. Richie Balt is 29% off this layoff. I think there's a lot to like there. You mentioned Charmaine's Mia, though, figures to be the main speed. We'll see if there's anyone who could press her. We do have a replay that I want to take a look at. It's the stretch run of her most recent, the Royal Heroine Stakes.
Just behind them, Raymundo's Secret has been on the rail throughout. Behind that group, Dog Tag is trying to weave through traffic. Warren Showtime outside of her. And then Tapwater, they're in the final furlong. Charmaine's Mia has to finish the job. Dog Tag running hard in second. Charmaine's Mia, Dog Tag, followed by Warren Showtime. Charmaine's Mia, Dog Tag coming. Charmaine's Mia all the way in the Royal Heroine.
Impressive.
Yeah, the quarter, she did a quarter in 22 and 2, half in 46 flat, 3/4 109. I mean, she went really fast early there, took pressure and kicked on. Ren, are you going to try to beat her?
Yes, because I think this is a step too far for her. I don't like her at this distance. You could see right there she looked tired. Yeah, I mean she put it all on the line, so I'm not gonna fault her. She's a super nice horse. She's won 3 in a row here, going for that 4th at a distance where I just feel like all things considered, you could allow for a horse like this to regress and still respect her. But that being said, yeah, I'm gonna try to beat her. It's funny, going to Vegas 6-1 on the morning line right now, sitting there at 5-2. And part of the reason, you got Rispoli aboard her and sticking aboard her after having won the Santa Ana by 3 3/4 lengths. And he had been riding a horse who I also think has a shot in here and who would be a good money back special type in Maxim Rate, who, that horse actually, despite the fact that she's by exchange rate and she actually does look like a bit of a shorter coupled horse, she's obviously won routing. And the other thing that's interesting about her is if you watch that race back, the Jenny Wiley, which Lasnier exits, and Lasnier is my second choice in here. That ground came up yielding that day. She made this middle move that was pretty interesting, but then she kind of flattened out. She lost ground. She got on a wrong lead at one point. But I think this is a horse who obviously has some guts. That was her first race, I think, perhaps ever without Lasix. But going to Vegas, who I'm actually picking on top, I just think this is a horse who, again, has some upside. This is a horse who is going to show some late kick. That last race she's coming out of back on March 27th, 3 horses ran back out of that race. 2 of them were next out winners. The other horse was second, and I'll get to that in just a second. The winners were Neige Blanche, who won the Grade 3 Santa Barbara. You had Altea win the Golden Poppy, and then you'll see Altea's name in the running lines of Red Lark because she was the horse who's exited that race who ran second behind her. So, yeah, I just think this is a nice horse. And again, the fact that Rispoli opted to stick aboard with her as opposed to another like Maxim Rate, who, again, I think has a shot in here for Simon Callahan, made me, like her all that much more. I will also say, though, La Seigneur, that ground was yielding. It said she was keen. You watch that replay. That was legitimate. She was a bit keyed up, but she's a class animal. Brendan's not going to ship her for no reason. And you got Mike Smith aboard, and you've got your firm ground back. So a horse definitely that I think you would be remiss not to have on your ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I like her for those reasons you just mentioned, too. I thought she ran it better than looked third last out of the Jenny Wiley. Looked like she was going to totally drop out at some point. And
yes, exactly.
I thought she was super impressive. But to touch on Maxim Rate, who you also mentioned, that last race off Lasix, one of her poor performances, for me, that was a bit of a concern. But I do want to show the Goldacova Stakes a couple of races back, one of her better performances.
As the field turns for home, Maxim Rate on the outside at the rail, Raimundo's Secret, but it's Maxim Rate who takes off and takes command in the blink of an eye. Behind them, it's Z Drop, but with a 16th to go, it's Maxim Rate and Umberto Rispoli strutting her stuff in the Goldacova. She wins by 3.
Graham, you heard Umberto Rispoli on Maxim Rate. He jumps off. He's going to Vegas. We rode last out. Where are you going?
So, I mean, look, it's hard not to like the 2 here, but I'm with Ren here. I don't like 6 to 5, so I'm playing against that. I think this race is pretty open. In fact, she's won 3 straight, but she's moving up to a grade 1 here. So I'm going to try to beat her for sure. I love going to Vegas. 1 going away last time. I like Rispoli too, so that's hard. The 2, this is a box race for me. I think this is very wide open. There's only like really one that I don't like at all here, and that's Red Lark. It's really the only one that it's kind of a toss for me. Everyone else I think has a legitimate shot here, but the 2 I'm looking at that have a price that I want to keep a close eye on, as Matt was talking about earlier. I am not huge on betting horses who've been off this long. I don't like. It's been 6-7 months. That said, I agree. Like if this was 6-7 months ago, I think it would not be 10 to 1 would be the price on her. So I do like that. But the one that I'm keeping a real close eye on that I like 7 to 1 on the 6 Keeper of the Stars. Won this race a year ago. I know it was just in Golden Gate. Ramped up to this race a year ago and won it. Then kind of bounced and went back down. It seems to be ramping up again. Cedillo's on her again. I think 7 to 1 is a very, very fair price here, and it's clearly in any box that I do, and I think might steal it. So I'm probably going to land on the number 7 to 1 at the 6 horse, but my gut does tell me Rispoli wins on the 4 going big.
Yeah, she's a fun horse too. I mean, and she was 5 to 2 morning line. Has obviously drifted up here with some of the, the class down on the rail with La Signore. You also have Charmaine's Mia, who looks like she could absolutely wire. And then, of course, improving going to Vegas. Giorgio, where did you land? You going favorites or you going with a little bit of a price?
I like the 2 inside horses the best. I think, on big days like this, you always see the big stars show up. Pratt always shows up on big days like this. D'Amato's our leading trainer. And the inside horse, you got Mike Smith on Lestignari. I think he's got a big shot.
All right, they're loading into the gate here for the Grade 1 Gamely. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you all for the comments. We'll try to pop up some of your selections here as they're going into the gate. We'll get some of the.
What do you got, Dan? What do you got, Dan?
I like the
Rate in the slam dunk colors
I'm
goes
on La
in.
Signore, and I also like Bodhicitta a little bit. So I'm betting an exacta with those 2, and I've got a little bit of a saver bet with Charmaine's Mia.
All right, give me a 4-6-9 box exacta. 4-6-9.
Bodhicitta. And they're off in the game league. Going to Vegas, bounces out smartly, but Charmaine's Mia is naturally quicker, and Keeper of the Stars up and on the pace too. Behind them, it's Maxim Raid in fourth, about 3 lengths off the lead. At the rail, La Signare, another 2 back to Bodacita, and Red Lark at the back of the field. Flavien Prat has the heavy favorite Charmaine's Mia out where she likes it. On the front end, pursued intently by Keeper of the Stars. Going to Vegas, rating kindly off the pace today in third. La Signare and Maxim Raid are right together. Another 2.5 to Bodacita and Red Lark, the distant trailer. Onto the backstretch they go, chasing Charmaine's Mia, who leads it by 2 lengths. Keeper of the Stars comfortably placed in second, and Going to Vegas is third. Then it's Maxim Raid fourth, 3.5 off the pace. La Signare is just behind her. Another 2 back to Bodacita, and Red Lark continues at the back. They're heading to the 3/8 pole in the game lead. And it's Charmaine's Mia, a half length in front of Keeper of the Stars second. At the rail, Going to Vegas, Maxim Raid covers her up. La Signare is still fifth, about 5 lengths off the speed, followed by Bodacita. Red Lark has gotten closer. They're a 1/4 mile from home. Charmaine's Mia and Keeper of the Stars, joined by Maxim Raid on the outside. Going to Vegas is next. And then La Signare, they're in the final furlong, and Charmaine's Mia has been overhauled. On the outside, Maxim Raid, center of the course. Here's La Signare finishing strongly, and so too Bodacita. It's Maxim Raid close to home. La Signare, a final try. Maxim Raid have won the game lead. La Signare was second, Bodacita third, and then Keeper of the Stars.
Okay.
Raspoli chose unwisely. I mean,
Maxim Raid.
I mean, look, the horse, you want an excuse for her also from that last race. She hadn't run since November when she shows up in the grade 1 Jenny Wiley against Juliet Foxtrot and company. So, and again, the ground had come up yielding. And as you can see right here, when I talk about a shorter coupled horse, can you see how her hindquarters are kind of closer to her front end than some of these other horses who are longer bodied? You know,
I usually see that, yeah.
Usually you see that more, the shorter coupled horse is generally the more, you know, shorter distances they prefer. Quarter horses are almost like this, right? You know, whereas here, she's a horse who, if I just looked at her physically, I'd probably think, oh, okay, yeah, you know, maybe a mile or whatnot. She can get ground. I mean, she just won here at 1 mile and 8, beating a nice field. But yeah, I you know, like I said, I kind of went the other way because I thought Umberto, he's been on both.
Yeah, he jumps off, and you know, I mean, look, to be frank, I mean, yeah, on the positive side here with Maxim Raid, you look back, you could throw out that last race, the Jenny Wiley, as we talked about, over yielding ground. At Santa Anita, 7 tries on the turf, six out of those 7 races finishes first or second. But at this distance, I mean, I had some questions. It was 0 for 3 at this particular distance. You know, but you couldn't ask for a better setup. Charmaine's Mia just went way too fast. I mean, she's not. I mean, choose the horse. I mean, she's not the kind. She's not, you know, the kind of horse who. I mean, she's good, but I mean, 22-4 and sub 46 going a mile and an 1/8. Really?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, Dan. Look at it. For 7 horses in this race, that super payout's going to be good. Look at that.
I told you. I hope you
12 to 1, 8 to 1. Man, that's.
I mean,
you can't ask for a better. You can't ask for a better board in this race if you boxed a bunch of them. Look at that.
Yeah.
I did say to use that horse as your money back.
You did. You did.
I did. So I hope somebody listened to me.
So Matt, Bodacita.
I think the horse who probably ran the best race is the horse that Bram tipped off. Yeah, no, look, I think I was just saying, I think the horse that probably ran the best race is the one that Bram tipped off and Keeper of the Stars, just because she was so close to the pace and it effectively crumbled. And, you know, don't take anything away from the top 3, but they all had the run of the race. I mean, they were able to save ground, wait by their time, and then come with their run at the end when, you know, we talked about it. It doesn't help a horse like Charmaine's Mia, doesn't help her cause when you already had distance questions going into it. But when you go 46 to the half, yeah, I mean, that it's going to be kind of difficult for you to see your way out going a mile and an 1/8. So take nothing away from the top 3. I think Keeper of the Stars probably ran the best race, and Charmaine's Mia just turn her back, get her back to a mile, and let her roll in the front end.
Yeah. And hey, another. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and another bit of respect to Keeper of the Stars, who was defending her win in the Gamely here last year, and she was coming off of that San Fran, against the boys. So really nice filly, to Matt's point.
I think with Maxim rate, listen, I love
Maxim!
this race. I love this rate to box because it felt like that was Charmaine's Mia was way too overbet this race. I mean that horse should not have been whatever it was, 4 to 5 even money, something like that. So this was a really great race to bet. And look at the board that it ended up with. I couldn't have landed on Maxim rate because one race this year, not a factor in that race. It is hard for me to make a case and go, well, here she comes this time around. So I that's like not even a miss to me. That's like one of those, if you knew it, you knew it. That said, listen, I think this was a wide open race. La Signore was a tremendous run in the stretch as well. Could have caught her. So that was, listen, that was a very much a wide open field. There was one horse that did not legitimately have a shot, and that horse didn't factor. So I think this result doesn't surprise me whatsoever. That 2-horse was way too overbet in this race.
Well, again, if I could give any little bit of advice to anybody who's learning about handicapping or anything, I would strongly suggest you go back and watch that Jenny Wiley Stakes, and you watch that move that Maxim Rate made before she flattened out and then went on a wrong lead and whatnot. That horse obviously was showing that she had some ability. Again, she hadn't run since November. So, and with the ground yielding on top of it and a lot of horses being keyed up. And again, Juliet Foxtrot being your winner. It's not as bad as it looks when you finish as she did that day, considering all of that. That move she made was pretty impressive until she just was like, okay, wait, no, I'm done. But yeah, look at that, 29.80. La Signore, who a lot of us like, she did go ahead and land herself in second, got herself a placing. Again, Brendan's not going to ship without reason. And good call, Bodacita, to round out the try there, Matt.
I know it's easy to second guess, in hindsight, but I can't help but wonder if some of the East Coast connections are kind of kicking themselves for not, especially those who are entered in the New York on Friday at Belmont Park. From what I saw just from the overnight, it's a full field, and it just seems like a chaos race where they're all super talented fillies. I have to wonder if some of them are looking at this race, again, not to take anything away from the top 3, but to say, boy, that was a grade 1 that we could have at least been a factor in, at the very least, if not had a chance of winning the whole thing.
No
$300,000 race. I mean, look, and I'm disappointed in La Signore. I thought she should have won. She's definitely got, she had the class to win this race. It just Maxim Rate got the jump on her and was a better horse today.
And going to Vegas, she did get all bottled up. So, I mean, she had no running room at all. So, pace makes the race and trip can be your undoing. So, definitely a horse to play back.
Before we wrap up here, since this will be the last time most of our viewers will see us until after the Belmont Stakes, first off, I want to play a quick video, just a little bit of hype to get you all excited since we're only a couple of days out now from the Belmont Stakes.
And it was a very good beginning for Justified, who goes immediately to the early lead in the race to the first turn. So it will be Justified. And there goes Taze the Law now to take over. It's Taze the Law. In the front. We're ready for a start. They're off in the Belmont Stakes.
Was it Edwardian Day there? What was it? The cloak and
That was a funny piece of video.
I liked it.
I did
I'll dress up.
Just play because I want to see Bram dance to the music. But anyhow, let's go around the room real quick. I mean, I know that the post position draw is tomorrow. I mean, I don't know that it matters in a 1.5-mile race with 8 or 9 horses. But let's start at the top. We'll go Matt, Bram, Ren. Who do you like in the Belmont Stakes?
I think in all likelihood, it's going to be known agenda. I just, the Derby, say what you will, the inside post is still not where you want to be, even with the new, brand new starting gate that they've got. I didn't think he ran all that bad in the Kentucky Derby, if we're being honest. It wasn't the cleanest of trips for him with all the horses coming over. And Todd has always said that he thought this was a 1.5 mile kind of runner. that he would stay all day. And I think just it's going to be critical to sort of be positioned in the spot where you need to be with about a half mile to go. You don't need to be pushing the pace throughout, but if you can get within a length or two with about a half mile to go, he's got a Rad, I assume, who's going to be riding again. I think that tandem is going to be very, very dangerous. He just had a really nice work with Dr. Post the other day, who's probably going to be one of the favorites for the Met Mile. So in all likelihood, I'll go with Known Agenda.
Right now, you're going to have a hard time talking me off of Essential Quality at this point. As Ren will point out, Essential Quality ran 2 Kentucky Derbies the day of the Kentucky Derby and was still kind of near the lead anyway. I think it is the best 3-year-old, and I expect him to show up this weekend. So I'm going to hate the price, whatever it is, and I'll probably be talked off of it and betting someone else. If I was going to go a different direction, it'd be Known Agenda, but right now it's going to be hard to be talked off of Essential Quality.
Find yourself an exacta and hammer it. Find an exacta, Ren.
Oh, your Japanese horse, Dan? Is that what it is? That's what I got to do now?
An option.
Well, I mean, you could say that was the race they were targeting because there's that bonus, the $1 million bonus for coming over and running in the Belmont for Francisco Ina. I think that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, I'm all about Essential Quality. Come on, guys, you know that. And as Bram already talked about, if you count for ground loss, ran the best race in the Derby. I mean, ultimately, it does come down to who crossed the wire first. I understand that. I take nothing away. I'm just saying that horse shows so much heart, so much grit. He was right there. I think he's going to become Tappett's 4th Belmont winner, joining Tonalist, Creator, and Tappert.
Yeah, if you exclude last year, 3 of the last 6 winners been by Tappet. But that Curlin pedigree ain't that bad either. So I agree with all of you. I think Known Agenda is legit, and I also think that the other Curlin overtook is one that's interesting, and that's one that you're actually going to get a price on. I think you're going to get 20 to 1 or more on that horse. So I'm going to be looking to pair up some exactas, but I think, like Bram said, it's going to be hard to talk me off of Essential Quality, given what he's accomplished thus far, given the trip he had in the Kentucky Derby, given that he comes in fresh, given the pedigree. I mean, there's so many check marks. I don't know what to say. I feel like I'd have to just psych myself out to give you a selection aside from Essential Quality. But anyhow, I'm sure you'll hear from us on our social channels between now and then. Speaking of, let's go around the room one more time. I can tell Ren wants to say one more thing.
I just want to say, I also think Hot Rod Charlie gets up in there for some money too. I do. I know some people, no, that horse is a game. Can I swear or no?
Go for it.
He's a game-ass racehorse. I mean, that horse, he throws down. He throws down. He will throw down in the Belmont. Watch. And he's got the right body type for it. So
that's almost like calling out sponsorship. There was a Breeders' Cup sponsor with ass in it. So
that's the way I meant it. I meant it like a donkey, so I'm not swearing.
All right. Let us just real quick, one last time around the room. Matt, we see your handle there. Where can people find you?
Yeah, obviously Twitter @Bernier_Matt, the podcast, the Matt Bernier Show. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. All sorts of different content over on NBCSportsEdge.com this week, both ponies and pucks. And then Saturday, I will be at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, doing a seminar for the Belmont Stakes.
Ooh, that's fun. I want to be doing that. I'm going to Belmont, and I feel like that would probably be almost as much fun, if not more fun. So
we should have a good time. Me and Mike Butnansky from WEEI in Boston.
Sweet. Bram, where do people find you?
I'm a game-ass broadcaster. I'm on all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I do a show with Dan every week called The Winner Circle. You could check that out. Ours that just came out today. It's up on all the social media channels. I have a radio show in D.C. I call Washington football games when they're playing football. It's not that time of year. And I got 58 other jobs, and if I told you about them, it'd bore you to death. So
do they have a name yet?
Not yet. Not this year. Next year.
Right.
So you can find me at Ren Carothers on Twitter. I do the Future Stars forecast. We do these on Tuesdays. I know people be like, isn't it Future Stars Friday? Yeah, but it's all about the 2-year-old, so consider it a 2-year-old Tuesday. After this week, we're going to get to a regular schedule every Tuesday with everything, being as dramatic as everything has been. Just waiting. And now the 2-year-old races are really going to be getting into swing where I'm going to be scoping out horses to watch going into the Breeders' Cup. Along with that, I come on shows with you guys when I'm asked, and I'm always happy to do that because I have so much fun. Tampa Bay Downs. Of course, I'm their simulcast host / analyst, and we've got that little 2-day weekend that's going to be coming up in June. And then later on in the season, we pick things up with the regular meet. And then Woodbine, if they ever get running again, let them run. Let them run. I give out plays of the day for Woodbine.
They're coming back soon. I think the last I saw was about June 18th or June 21st. So we're hopefully close there with Woodbine. Look, this was a blast as always. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Santa Anita.
Yes.
Just saying, hey, look, we are pumped to kick off the Road to the Breeders' Cup. Let's do a show. Let's blow it out. So that's what we did. Santa Anita Road to the Breeders' Cup live. We hope to be back with a lot more of these Road to the Breeders' Cup live shows. We hopefully will put out a schedule at some point. We're planning some more. They're in the works. Look out for that. But for now, for Matt, for Bram, for Ren, I'm Dan Tordjman. We will see you next time.
Cheers.